Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Today's episode, powered by Perfect Sports Nutrition, is 5 habits that you need to break starting now. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about 5 habits that fighters tend to make and ones that you need to break if you're making them. So let's get right into the first one, and that is always circling in the same direction, all right? So if I'm always circling to my left, and as an orthodox fighter, it's easier to circle to your left. So a lot of times when we are circling, we're always going to go to our left. But the problem with that, my opponent's going to start picking up on that, reading it. So as a good kickboxer, what's going to happen if I'm going to keep circling to my left? I'm going to keep walking into these big low kicks. I could walk into a punch, boom, and I could even walk into head kicks if I know, okay, in that direction. If they know I'm going there, they're going to start throwing big, heavy attacks that way, right? It's almost like when they say you fighting a southpaw, circle away from the power. You have to be able to change up directions, and that's the big habit. Now, a lot of fighters, they might come in, they might break out. You might be circling on the outside, which is okay at that point, but if you have an explosive fighter who can close distance quickly, you're still going to be in trouble. So one of the ways you can break that habit is when I exit out, I'm always here being able to change directions, okay? By having a nice neutral stance, if they're coming here, I can circle one way, or when it comes, I can just circle the other way, okay? So making sure you switch the directions you're circling and make it unpredictable. Don't go one left, one right, one left, one right. Change it up, and that's how you can really confuse your opponent as well, create different offense for yourself. So stop circling the same way all the time. Okay? Now, number 2 is similar with movement, but that's kind of coming in only on straight lines, okay? So a lot of fighters, because of pad work and the way they're taught, they only come in a straight line. So if I only come in on a straight line here, 1, it's going to be harder for me to kind of find angles and attacks, and 2, it's easy for my opponent to read me, okay? So I need to be careful when I'm coming in straight and they throw a jab or straight punches, I'm going to walk into it. So the whole point of turning here is trying to create angles, okay? So I need to kind of enter a little bit more on angles, not on the straight line. Now, same with this straight line point is one of the biggest pet peeves that I see a lot of even pro fighters make, and a lot of times even in the UFC, if I'm entering on a straight line and the jabs keeps coming in and keep hitting me, so boom, I keep getting hit with the jab. Now the biggest mistake is not moving your head, not using your feinting, okay? So you have to at least move your head if you're coming on in a straight line, okay? But finding those angles are just going to help you attack better and stay defensively at the same time, okay? So entering and exiting on angles is just going to help you be, 1, more offensive as well as defensive at the same time. So stop entering on the same line. Now, the third point, which is a bad habit, but it's something that I like to use to my advantage as well as an offensive pressure fighter, is after a clinch a lot of time. We end in a clinch, and a lot of people break from the clinch with their hands down thinking the ref's going to stop it or that fighter's not going to attack. And that's the biggest mistake because a lot of knockouts happen off of clinch breaks. So the big habit again is I'll come in, the good exchange is here, and then they'll stop and they'll put their hands down, right? You got to think that's a perfect time to attack. So a lot of times, when I'm here out of the clinch, I might use the clinch for a second, push them off, and then start creating heavy punches or attacks off of that. So I like to attack off of the clinch break, where most fighters, for some reason, they just sit in the clinch and they wait, or they try to kind of back up with their hands down. The biggest time you see people get knocked out very badly with kicks a lot of times happens off of the break. So if I'm here with the clinch break here and then I push Izzy off and I throw the head kick and her hands are down, that's where you get those big knockout shots, okay? So make sure when you break from the clinch, the hands are up defensively, okay? A good kicker is going to head kick you, or there could be some good punches off of the break. Okay? So that's number 3. Now, mistake number 4, what I'm going to talk about, since we're in that little bit of the closer range, is making sure you breathe. Okay? It's a habit. I don't know why it happens a lot of time. I think it happens because we're uncomfortable getting hit. Okay? Now, usually when we learn to strike, right, everything is with breathing. So Izzy's guards up, I breathe, and I could attack and breathe at the same time. Now, if she comes back, the habit is we hold our breath as they're attacking, and that's killing my gas tank a little bit. And it happens a lot, and I have to even remind some of my pro fighters that they gotta breathe every time they even get hit. So even if I'm not getting hit on the face or the body, even if I'm blocking off the arm, I breathe with each strike, okay? So I'm breathing and then, okay, I breathe. Even low kicks, if I'm taking a low kick, I breathe every single time, okay? She'll mix up her strike, okay? So breathing every time you get hit, and same thing offensively. I shouldn't have to tell you that. Every time you throw, you need to be able to breathe every time. And then even on the outside, this is when you catch your breath. Too many times, the worst part of it all though is when you're getting hit and overwhelmed, holding your breath in that position is the worst, okay? Now, the last point I'm gonna make, which is kind of an obvious one, but one that everybody still needs to be reminded of, and it's the habit of the chin coming up. Now, some tall fighters get away with it because they can come and they can roll punches, but this one really gets to me because it's a bad habit. Now, if you can keep your chin down defensively, and this is where I find higher level guys have this problem, right? Again, an amateur might have their chin up the entire time, but they're moving. It's amateur fighting, they get away with it. But even with a lot of pros, they'll have their chin down, but then as soon as it's time to attack, the chin comes up while they attack, and then they might tuck their chin down, but they have that bad habit of every time they throw their punches, that chin comes up, okay? Again, they'll tuck after, but it's that moment when you're throwing. But this is where higher level fighting, it becomes a problem, because if I get countered, right? If I go throw a big open hook and Izzy just kind of flashes something in, that's when I'm gonna get caught, right? So I need to make sure my chin stays down the entire time, before and after. If I ever want to raise my chin to take a breath, it's when I move on to the outside, I can lift my chin. But as soon as I start coming in here, my chin needs to stay down. And even when I'm attacking, I'm going to keep it forced down, okay? The reason why I think a lot of fighters who I've seen do this a lot, it's because of distance. If I come in too close here and I try to throw, I tend to raise my chin. But if I throw my strikes with full extension here, it's easier for me to keep my chin down if I'm throwing a hook from here versus a hook from being too close, okay? So that forces my chin versus here keeps me a little bit more defensive with my shoulder as well, okay? So keeping that chin down while you are throwing, okay? None of this coming here and then coming back down, okay? Big mistake that a lot of fighters make, okay? So these are little habits, and I mean little habits. They're not big ones, okay? Even one with the chin I'll describe, it's small, right? Even when someone pops their chin, it's a small movement, but they can capitalize it. One I didn't add on this video, which you could easily add, is some fighters, every time they break, they have a habit of either rubbing their face, fixing their hair. That's a little habit where if they exit and they start doing that and I kind of step in and break that little habit, you got to look and watch those little bit of reads, you know? If they come back, they go to fix their hair, boom, come in and capitalize on that. So those are little habits that you might not even notice you have. That's why it's important to sometimes film your sparring. Film even your pad work. See what your chin's doing. Are you breathing? Are you moving? Okay? All very important parts. Small ones, but when there's too many of them, it can become a bigger problem. Okay? The ideal thing about this sport is we want to have this best offense as we can, and defensively, we don't want to be touched. Okay? So if you're going to raise your chin, it increases the chances of yourself getting hit and hurt, which is what we don't want, okay? Force that chin down, film it, even have somebody on the outside constantly reminding you, chin down, and it's frustrating. Even with me, some coaches would tell me my chin's too high, and to me, I think I'm forcing it down, so I'm getting frustrated. It is down, you know, but when you rewatch it, you can understand why your coach is telling you to keep it down even more. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep liking, subscribing, and sharing Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Make sure you support the channel by supporting our sponsors. We have Perfect Sports Nutrition. Using code Bazooka20 gets you 20% off. Make sure you go in there, try their Altered State pre-workout. Gets me going for all my workouts, plus their BCAAs and proteins. And we have Hayabusa by going to Hayabusa Fight, and all linked in the description below. These are the T3s, my personal favorite, because they have that double wrist protection for me. And last but not least, bazookatraining.com, where you get online curriculum taught by me, new videos every single Monday, and they're broken down into bag work, home workouts, tutorials, sparring drills, and you get a whole library of over 250 videos for you to learn Best part, less than $10 a month, $9.99 US dollars to get online training taught by me. All right, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Welcome to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA online training. I'm Bazooka Joe Valtellini, the owner here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Over the past year, I've designed and created a website to teach Bazooka curriculum at home and across the world. The purpose of this website is for you to, one, hit your fitness and health goals, all while learning world-class martial arts instruction from me. The beautiful thing about this website, it's geared for all levels. So if you're learning martial arts for the first time as a beginner, we help you progress into the bigger stages. And if you're a pro fighter, guess what? We have different fight concepts for you to improve your tool set and your skills in the ring or cage. As the fastest rising kickboxing world champion and a lifelong martial artist with over 30 years of experience, I've been able to combine my passion for martial arts and teaching to create this website. This website's going to give you some of the tricks, secrets, and inside look at some of the training I use to win my world title. Once you subscribe to this site, you're going to be getting weekly training videos and tutorials that you can do from anywhere. The sections are broken up into 3 parts. The first is bag workout. So if you have a bag at home or at your gym, you can use these workouts to supplement your training. The second is at-home workouts. A lot of us don't have the room for a bag or a bag in general, so these workouts are for no equipment needed and you can do them anywhere. And finally, the tutorial section. If you're having any problems with a specific technique or fight concept that's covered in any of the workouts, go to the tutorial section, learn the technique, and then go back to the workout, and this time, do it with proper technique. One of the added benefits once you subscribe is the forums section, where you can get a more personalized experience where you can ask questions and I'll be able to go in there and answer them. It's all about building a team and a community of martial artists helping each other grow. So subscribe now to get access to all the videos plus more so you can be part of the squad here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA.